All right. Well, let's get this started. It is the wee hours of Monday morning, and it's time for showing up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. And I got my Jubilee, so do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And what we're going to do, well, we're pretty much going to go over the last week of this 30-day drawing challenge I'm doing from Mark Burnett's shit, and we're going to talk about it a little. God, that's good. And we're going to talk about it from a number of perspectives, but mostly we're going to talk about whether I feel like I'm doing a good job and whether I feel like it's helping. So let's just jump straight into this. I mean, there's no point in belaboring the process. Here we have day 9. This is what I did later on in the day after last week's video. So on day 9, we had 2 eyeballs looking the same direction, and that was fairly simple. I don't know that I did a great job on that, but, you know, just kind of fucking phoned that in. I'm sort of doing that on the Learn to Draw stuff. I'm just not doing a whole lot of effort because it's just not very difficult. And head proportions, draw a circle, fit a square in it, put a half square under it, and mark the feature locations of the hairline, and the hairline, of course, goes. Let me come in here and add a new layer. Hello, new layer. And let's go into that layer, and we'll use this kind of bright green color. Here's the hairline right here, and then we got the eyebrows, and we got the nose, and we got the chin down here, and then it was face swap to characters drawing from reference. And I took Elva from some anime whose title I don't remember. It was kind of a crappy one. And obviously Kota Akari. I've been using Kota Akari a lot over the course of this. And I swapped the 2 faces, and I don't think I did a very good job on it, but, you know, I did the job. I didn't do a great one, but, you know, I recognized differences between the 2 faces. I put stuff where it belonged. But again, you know, on a lot of this, I'm just phoning it in, but it's a different reason. On the Learn to Draw thing, I'm just kind of phoning it in because it all seems so trivial and so basic. On the face stuff, you know, I'm kind of taking that seriously because that mostly seems around my level. And on the character stuff, I feel like I really suck at this shit. So because I feel like I really suck at it, I just kind of race through it and don't want to, like, I don't want to look at it too long. I don't want to think about it too long because I'm not very good at it. And that's sort of problematic. I need to do less of that and actually try to do a better job on the character stuff. Then we moved into day 10, and on day 10, I'm supposed to do a sphere, cylinder, and box, and then their halves. And here's the sphere, here's the cylinder, here's the box, and there are their halves. You know, not that difficult. Head proportions again, shape the jaw, add basic features. I have it here with the guidelines on the right and without the guidelines on the left. I didn't do a great job. The sides of the head aren't perfect, but, you know, it feels like I did a decent enough job on it. And then it was using 2 references, create a new character using features from both. So I kind of did Kota Akari's pose and put Himiko Toga's expression on it, and I don't think I did a very good job because, surprise, I don't do a very good job in general on these fucking character exercises. So I was really not very happy with that. Then on day 11, this was kind of interesting. A sphere with shading. Oh. Does it look like maybe I've done the sphere with shading 8 million times? Does it look like I've done a whole lot of those maybe? And head proportions from the side with basic facial features. I kind of got that there. I think I've got the guidelines on the, yeah, there are the guidelines on the next on the next layer. And yeah, so I kind of did that. And then it was copy a character body in a simple pose and make a minor pose edit. So I used the original picture of Kota Akari, and I think I fixed some stuff and other stuff not so much. I made her torso way too long. I'm doing that fairly frequently. And if you flip the canvas, she's really got a substantial lean. There's a reason people flip their canvas all the time, you know, and I'm definitely hitting a thing with character work that I should probably be flipping the canvas. Then we got to day 12. Day 12, stack of 3 boxes and 3 cylinders of varying sizes. Every stack I saw as an example was stacked, the largest on the bottom and the smallest on the top. And I found that overly simple. So I got a little bit funky with it. And I put the small one in the middle on the boxes, and I put the small one on the bottom with the cylinders. And then there was a box and a sphere using subtle perspective. Yeah, okay, there you go. There it is. I don't see the point of that. And then there was 10 to 15 quick 2 to 3 minute pose drawings from Photo Reference. I sat and stared at that for over 10 hours and just didn't fucking do it. And then I went to bed. And when I got up in the morning, the next day, I sat and stared at it for another 3 or 4 hours before I actually buckled in and did it. I had such resistance to doing this exercise. I really did not want to do it. I really had a massive aversion to doing this exercise. And I don't think I did that bad, really. I mean, if you scroll in, if you take a look here, like if you take a look at this one, I don't think I did a terrible job on that. And, you know, as you go across and you look at these, you know, the sketch, I have trouble getting the lean correct on a lot of these. But for a surprising number of them, you know, the sketch is pretty close. This one is fucked up all to hell. I don't know what the hell all is wrong with this. This one came out so much better than I expected. This one is I made it too long, you know, but a lot of these just kind of, they fit a lot better than I thought they would, you know? And I feel like I did a lot better on this than I expected to do. But at the same time, as I'm going through and doing these, I really don't like doing them. I do not enjoy it. And it's because this is not something that I've done before. Working from Photo References, yeah, I've done that before. But 2 to 3 minute pose drawings, I don't really do that. I don't really do life drawing. I don't like this 2 to 3 minute time limit thing. It really distresses me, and I don't want to do it. But I did eventually get past that resistance and do the work on this, which brought me into day 13. And in day 13, I was supposed to spend 10 to 20 minutes. Now, I feel like, now we had the 3 cylinders with varying levels of bend. Phoned in again. Square split in quarters to find eyebrows. Yep. 3 circles under to space eyes before drawing eye shapes. Yep. There you go. There it is. And choose a day 12 pose and redo it. 10 to 20 minutes. Focus on proportions. So I did. And I think I did better. And I also think the reason this is the exercise for this day is to show you this is the difference between a 2 to 3 minute sketch and a 10 to 20 minute sketch. I think that's fairly important. I think it really did a good job, and I think that I think the message on this was slow the fuck down. Chill, dude. You got time. Take your time on stuff. Oh yeah. I should do that. I should slow down and take my time on this stuff. And then we moved on to day 14, and on day 14, it was draw a box and chop off the side corners. Done. A box with a subtle perspective inside a sphere. Locate the facial features. Done. Copy the same character drawing from day 1. What? I did that on day 11 back here. And now here I am doing it on day 14. And look, I did substantially better. I slowed down and I took my time and I did a better job. I think that's what that's for, is to show you your progress. And, I was already looking at some progress here. I did a better job on some things and a worse job on others. But here, on this one, I did a substantially better job. And I feel like a large part of this is volume. A large part of this is, getting multiple pieces of reference drawn from. And I did days 12 and 13 like right on each other's heels, because I literally spent 21 hours procrastinating on day 12. And then on day 14, I did this thing. And then day 15, day 15 is once again 10 to 15 pose drawings from photo reference. A burger made of 2 half spheres and a cylinder. Okay, there it is. A head shape starting from a square. Okay, yeah, there it is. And then the 10 to 15 quick drawings. I felt like I did a worse job on these than I did on the first batch. But when you actually look at them, when they're overlaid on the photos, I actually did substantially better on them than I did just a couple days ago. There's a lot of stuff that's not where it goes, that is a little bit off, that I got this part wrong and that part wrong. But as a general rule, these sketches seem to be better than the sketches I did just a couple days earlier. Just that little bit of work and the couple of days to let it percolate have really made a fairly dramatic difference in the quality of the results. Although I did catch myself going over the 3-minute mark with some of these. And that leads us to day 16. Day 16 is what we're going to do right here, right now. Because here's the stuff. A beveled box with a square hole through it. Now see, I don't have a problem with this. You would normally do like construction and whatnot and go like, here's your box. But here's the thing. Number one, a beveled box is just not that hard to draw. There's the box with its beveled corners. And why did I draw it in this orientation? Because everybody else is doing it in a front orientation. But also, I want to make it fairly thin. And the reason I want to make it fairly thin is that when I do this square hole through the middle, I want to see all the way through it. I want to see all the way through, like so. That'll be in shadow. That'll also be in shadow, but that'll be a deeper shadow. And then over here, we're going to have some shading here. We'll do this in even deeper shadow. Going with some contour line there. That'll kind of show off the bevel there. To learn to draw stuff, one of the things it's really underscoring is I know how to draw. It's not that hard. Head shape from a square with ears and neck. Head shape from a square. Well, we'll start with a square. There's a square. Now, what we need beyond that is we need an additional half square. We'll do an additional half square here. And actually, grab that, cut and paste, and we'll continue this right here. Now, head shape from a square. Top of this square, this is the hairline. So the actual top of the head is up above that. So we're going to go up above that for the hairline. And we're going to come around here, and we're going to do the shape of the jaw. One moment. Thought I had to sneeze. I hate it when that happens. But there's that. And now here's the hairline right here. The hairline would be there. And then halfway down, we would have the eyebrows. The eyebrows would go right about here. And then we'd have the eyes. The eyes are kind of an oblong shape like so. And there's one eye width there, one eye width there, and then one eye width here. The eyes are kind of canted. There's an oblong shape to them, like so. They're kind of like a skewed diamond. And then we've got the nose. Now the nose kind of follows down. Bridge of the nose comes down from the curve of the eyebrow. So there's sort of the end of the nose, and there's the side of the nose. We got the philtrum, we've got mouth, out of the lower lip, right there. And the ears. Top of your ear is right about at your eyebrow. The bottom of the ear is right about at the bottom of your nose. So you want to put your ears right around there. And then for the neck, it's going to come down like this. That comes down about like that. The pit of the neck is here. The Adam's apple would be located right around here. And you've got traps that come out along the side here. Traps are up higher on a male, and they're down lower on a female. And then underneath of that, you've got the clavicles right here. We kind of got our clavicles right there. There we go. There's the head shape with the ears and neck. Now the body only of a character from reference in the pose from day 15. Okay, so that character. Can you guess what character we're going to use? Oh my God. Can you imagine what character we might be planning to use? Well, let's jump in here to reference, and let's jump into characters, and let's jump over to, oh my God, look, it's Kota Akari. Actually, let's drag her in as a file object. Let's drag her in right there. Drag that over and we'll expand that. Not quite that much. Here's our character that we're going to be drawing. Right there. We'll move her right there. So this is part of the character reference right there. That's the character. Now we need the pose. Now here's the thing about choosing a pose from day 15. I've got 2 characters in schoolgirl uniforms. But that would be cheating. So it's fairly neutral poses. Schoolgirl uniforms, and I just think that's cheating. So what I want to do instead is I think I want to do, let's see, which one do I want to do? There's a number of good ones. I feel like this one here. I feel like that one is I feel like that's the right one. So let's bring that up here. There she is. So let's copy that. We'll grab our marquee tool. We'll copy out this pose. So, Control C. And then we'll come over here and we'll Control V to put that pose in there and Control T to alter the size. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Pull it over to the side here and yes, apply the transformation. Let's come back to Akari. Let's transform her. Let's make her about the same height. Let's put her feet at about the same height and her head at about the same height. And then we've got proper reference on both sides. So we'll move that over there. Okay. And in between these, we want to put Kota Akari in this pose. I do not expect to do a very good job on this. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but yeah, I don't anticipate this being particularly good. We're gonna start off by extrapolating. Okay, layer 1 copy, is that what we're working with? I was going to put the guidelines on one layer and the head on the other layer, and I just put them both on the same layer. Okay, let's add a new layer for this. Okay, so what we want to do is just kind of identify the shoulder length. Akari has more sloping shoulders than this, so we're gonna give her kind of, here's the sloping shoulder, and here's the arm hanging down by her side. Here's the sleeve. The sleeve would come down to about here. That's a little bit too far down. That is about what that sleeve would look like. The bust line is still going to look about the same. Here's the shoulder here. I'm going to put the collar right here. Top of the tie right here. And other here. About right. That is way too. Okay, let me get a read on how wide this will be. Up about that, about like that. There's the tie. There's the collar right there. And this about where the head goes. But we're going to turn her head to the side. This in here, right about here. She's going to have the classic anime character profile face. But we're going to modify that a little. Here's kind of the hairline. There's the headband coming down and around her ear. I'm not sure whether that's a band that goes around her hair. Or around the, or just like around the back of her head. I'm gonna do spiky hair thing back here. And then we're gonna take the shoulder out again. And here we need to put her hand kind of up on her shoulder. Comes down, and we've got the kind of, here's the arm, here's the bicep, here is the rest of that, and got a arrow. Comes there. There's the pocket. Not high enough, that's not high. That should be up higher. This up higher. This comes down. So there's the pocket, and now we have the skirt, and I've drawn this too long. Well, yeah. Pull that back. And here is the other arm. There. Bring the skirt down around. Got this construction for the skirt. Really not doing a good job on these hands. But we're going to take her leg over here. Animate fake knee. She's got these big chunky shoes on. I'm not doing a very good job on the legs. I recognize that. But Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, that's there she is. I don't think that's a terrible job. I don't think that's awful. Um could be better, could be worse, could be something else. But yeah, that's a thing right there. I shrink it down so I can screenshot it and throw it on Blue Sky. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so I got to do my alt text. Always do your alt text. A set of drawing instructions. See, if you're actually following me on Blue Sky, you will be able to see this appear in real time. A set of drawing instructions. Here it is, the beveled box, the head shade, the body only of a character from reference and pose from day 15. And the character is in a coy sort of... I just lost some period of my recording, and I don't know how much of it. That's going to be frustrating, but yeah, oh god damn it. I've got to stop recording. I've got to check. I've got to check and see what was done. There's no way around it. That's all there is to it. Well, it was only a few seconds, so not a big deal. I was in the middle of making the post on Blue Sky, and somehow in the middle of that, I managed to pause the recording. I don't know what happened. I don't know what caused it, but it was only a few seconds of stuff, and that's not a big deal. So, you know, yeah, you've seen everything important on this. So anyway, what I was saying when I realized everything was paused is I have actually stayed up to date with this challenge. I have actually continued to do day after day, and I haven't missed anything. And I didn't procrastinate as long on day 15 as I did on day 12. Day 12, it was a 21-hour procrastination. Day 15, it was only an hour and a half. So that was good. And I will take that improvement. And I'm feeling good about finishing this challenge. And I'm only halfway there, and I'm definitely seeing like substantial improvement. And maybe, I don't know, maybe that will get me back into a place where I can actually do finished pieces and feel like they're worth posting. I haven't done anything finished in months. I'm just very frustrated by that. I'm very frustrated, and I've hit that point where I feel like I backslid. I feel like I'm worse at doing things than I was. And really, I mean, when you look at, if I pull up an older, piece of work, like specifically, like if I specifically pull up a series of characters, okay, then I feel like these characters actually aren't all that bad, but I haven't felt like I could do something like this in a long time. I've felt like this work was somehow beyond me, and at the same time, I know that my skills have improved since then. I know that I'm a better artist than I was when I did these, which is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And yet I don't really feel like doing characters. I don't feel that I'm good enough at characters, that I should be drawing them, and that I should be trying to get them together and post them on like social media and whatnot. And I think that's a fairly common issue that people have, where they feel like they backslid. And I'm dealing with that, and I'm struggling with that. And I was hoping that this challenge would get me to a point where I was hoping it would get me to a point where I would feel more confident putting my characters, doing more character portraits and designs and scenes, and putting them up where people can see them. And this is going to sound awful, but I keep trying to look for artists that are worse than me so I could go, they're worse than me. I could post better art than this. If they can post their art online, I can post my art online. But I'm having trouble finding worse artists than me. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of where things are, and that's where I feel like I can leave things for today. So, which of these have changes that haven't been saved? Oh, that one we don't want to. Okay. That one also we don't want to save that. Okay. I don't save that either. Or that. Or that. There we go. Yeah, there we are. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I don't feel like there's, I don't know how to close this off. It's just like trying to make sure I didn't leave you guys hanging after the indeterminate amount of pause time that was in there. I don't know why that happened. So that's frustrating. Anyway, again, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And okay, bye.